Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. These podcasts are brought to you in part by our sponsors, who really truly are what make these podcasts possible every week. O'Fallon Nutrition is a company that I've worked with for over 15 years. They're independently owned and operated, located here in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of Highway K and Mexico Road. I call this place the Whole Foods of St. Charles County, but even if you are not located on this side of the river, it is still worth the drive. I can remember working all the way down at Powerhouse and still sending people out to O'Fallon Nutrition for their supplements. They are more than a supplement company. You can get grass-fed beef, salad dressing, seasoning for your cooking, hair care products, makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, essential oils, and all the vitamins and minerals that you can think of. If you're looking for clean, whole food nutrition, as well as home care, house care, skincare products, O'Fallon Nutrition is your place. You can take a look at them at o'fallonnutrition.com, or if you'd like to have something shipped, if you're listening to me from outside of St. Louis, you can certainly have items shipped. I know they do free shipping if it's an order over $50, and the phone number is 636-240-5283. Again, it's o'fallonnutrition.com. As well as if preparing your food on a weekly basis is your primary excuse for why you're not able to stay on a good, clean eating program, which is something that I hear very regularly from my clients, I would ask you to please take the time to check out Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com. They are a phenomenal place. We get our food from there during the week. They deliver to our Integrity location. They will deliver to your house. They also are just available for pickup. You can go to their Chesterfield location or their Kirkwood location and just pick up meals for the day, as well as just having them delivered right to your door. So if preparing your food is your main excuse for why you cannot stay on a healthy eating program, then I would suggest just stop by Pure Plates. Just try it. If you're trying to lower your blood pressure, you're trying to lower your cholesterol, you're trying to get your blood sugar down, try to do Pure Plates meals for a week and just see how different you feel. These are organic meals. They are gluten-free. If you need them to be, they can be dairy-free. They are soy-free. You're not taking any processed sugars or meat-curing agents or preservatives. They really, truly believe in nutrient-dense meals that are just whole food nutrition. And I've had my clients, or I've made recommendations for my clients for years at Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com, or you can call them to ask questions at 636-778-3555. Again, remembering that they have a location in Chesterfield as well as in Kirkwood that you can just run by and pick up a meal today. Everyone always asks me where I get my meat from, and given that I really eat meat on a daily basis, typically beef primarily, my meat is very important to me. I have an autoimmune condition and I want grain-free, corn-free meat, and I just haven't found the confidence in stores in knowing that I'm getting 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef. And I have searched and searched and searched for the right farm, and I have found the farm. It's fedfromthefarm.com, fed, F-E-D, from thefarm.com. These farmers are amazing. It's a family. They're here in Missouri, and they have the desire, just like I do, to see people well and to see people healthy, and they put a lot into what they do. It's such a wonderful family to support. They do offer 100% grass-finished, grass-fed, meaning that's it. A beef, and I get my ribeyes, I get my ground beef, my ground sirloin, I get my chuck roast. I mean, they basically have everything. They even have awesome jerky, but they also have eggs, they have chickens, and they have turkey. I'm planning on getting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and if you'd like lamb, they have that as well. But if you are in need of good quality grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or quality eggs, chicken, turkey, don't just settle for what you're getting at the local store. to go out on the internet and check out Fed from the Farm. That you can arrange a pickup or you can have it delivered to to your home. And I can guarantee you're going to taste the difference. For me, my health actually depends on it. So I really thank God to have found such a great farmer. Fedfromthefarm.com. I hope it blesses you.
Welcome to Faith, Fuel, and Fitness, the Integrity Way, with your hosts, John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. We're so happy to have you join us today. We always like to start our show by talking about what it means to be a warrior, and I like to give the definition of a warrior because I think a lot of people are confused about what it means. Like they just see these guys running around with swords and shields and axes and think that's what it is to be a warrior. But a warrior is a brave or experienced soldier or fighter. And so you may not be a soldier. You may not be somebody who is actively in combat, but you have fought, you've overcome something before, and you may not be brave. You could be terrified of what life's presenting with you. But if you've done anything in this world, which you have if you're beyond being a baby, you're experienced. So if you fought through something in your past and you're experienced at life, then you get to call yourself a warrior, which means that as life comes at you and you think, man, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, just realize that you've said that before. You've actually at some point in your life overcome the last hardest thing you've ever had to do, so you can do it again. Amen. So do you have anything that you want to talk about, Deb, as far as what it means to be a warrior or anything that's been going on for you?
I do. I just have something small, but yesterday was day 75.
That's not very small.
I just, you know what I'm saying.
Oh,
but
I know what you're saying.
Yesterday was day 75 for 75 hard. And so today I decided I think I'm supposed to take a rest day today. So I might be not doing it right. But anyways, so any of you all out there doing it, maybe read the directions better than me, but I'm not very good at taking rest days. So today I just started the Live Hard program. And 75 hard ended up being really great strengthening for me from a mental perspective. There were plenty of times where I wanted to spend more time with my family. I wanted to be inside. I didn't want to be getting rained on, or I didn't want to be cold, or I didn't want to, and I just continued to do it anyways. There were also many times where I just felt like, how in the world am I going to fit this into my day? Which I didn't take that perspective. Like after 2 weeks of it, my perspective was, I will fit this into my day. I actually didn't even see it as an option in terms of how I would fit it into my day. I just knew I would fit it into my day because that was my job. And in order to accomplish 75 hard, that was what I had to do. And I just think that we don't always warrior up like that in life. And we have so many reasons why we can't do something, so many excuses for why we can't get something done because we're so busy. And if we just had the mindset that it has to be a priority, it is a priority, it will get done no matter what the circumstance, then I think we would actually be accomplishing a lot more in our life. And I do feel that there's an equipping for that. And I feel like there's some armor that needs to be put on every day. I just would wake up every day and tell myself, I don't really care what happens. This is who I am. This is what I stand for. And I will keep my commitments to myself. And it wasn't even about checking a box or showing anybody, because I personally wholeheartedly had not told anyone other than my husband and my daughter and my best friend, basically, that I was doing 75 hard. Those were the only three people that I told. But my husband is like so loving and proud of me that he would like walk through the gym and be like, my wife is a beast. She's doing 75 hard. I'm so proud of her. She was out walking. And so then like people just started to know I was doing 75 hard. The other thing I would do is say, which I think is amazing that he did that, but the other thing I would do is say, I'm walking outside or doing my outdoor workout. And someone would say, oh, are you doing 75 hard? And then it would be like, well, I'm not going to lie. So I would say yes. But what was neat was that you started to feel this community of warriors that were surrounding you. And then you saw some people that maybe fell off and maybe they were discouraged with themselves and maybe they haven't been staying quite as committed. But because you were living this life in front of them and having this conversation with them, that warrior mentality just right in front of them, they had a seed planted just by your life being in front of them. I mean, I remember just being inside the cryo machine, talking to the person operating the cryo, and you could see a switch flip in that person. And they made a decision that day. I'm doing something different. Like I can do this. I can do better than what I've been doing. Now, today is the day one of the Live Hard day. So now things get added. So I stay on all my 75 hard tasks. I don't stop doing any of those items. But now I have to add other items to the list. And one of them is a 5-minute shower or a cold plunge, or I would say cryo would be equal to that. Another is that I have to write down 8 items on a power list, and I have to accomplish them each day, or I don't actually get to move on to the next day. And then the final one is 10 minutes of visualization. And so this is my warrior comment to you, is challenge yourself to think outside of where you are and truly do this. I know that it probably sounds hokey to sit down, close your eyes, and actually see yourself somewhere other than where you are, okay? Because there have been times where I have been in some really difficult spots with my health. I've been in difficult spots with finances. I've been in difficult spots with the literally the county coming and shutting my business down because of a global pandemic and no money coming in. I've been in difficult spots before where it would be very hard to close my eyes and see anything other than what's currently in front of me, which is a mountain of difficulty, right? But this morning, I started my day with a salt bath, which I do all the time. And I got myself down to my neck and I started soaking. And I set a timer for 10 minutes. And I started seeing brick by brick, stone by stone, what our house in the future was going to look like. The stone wall that's going to be present in the kitchen. And then I was walking around with my best friend inside the house who designed the house for me, who built the house for me, because her architecture and their craftsmanship is so amazing at K-Build. I want that for myself. And in 5 years ago, I probably would have thought, well, I'll never build a K-Build home because I really don't have that type of income. But after this visualization, I thought, I'm of course going to have a K-Build home. What other home would I build? Then I saw our business and I saw it grown into a different location. I saw my bakery in its own location. I saw a healthy cafe attached to all of it. I saw what it looked like. I saw the colors. I saw the doors. I saw the walls. I saw the smiling faces. I saw the changes being made to people. I was seeing all of this, okay? And I have approached my day differently since doing that at 5:30 this morning. And my warrior comment to you is, you are going through hard times right now, but you will stay stuck in those hard times if that's all you see. And I am a very motivated person. I am super encouraging to other people. I am always trying the next best thing to try to level up our business. But this helped me. This 10 minutes really helped me. It's amazing how I've gone through my entire morning thinking, I can't wait until this happens. I drove by the Range Rover dealership and thought, I can't wait until I own that brand new car, instead of, I wonder if I'll ever own a car like that. There's a day's difference between me driving by that car dealership and thinking, I wonder if I'll ever drive a car like that. Now, this is all materialistic, but it's not just that. I wonder if I'll ever be able to build this business big enough for all of my trainers to fulfill all of their dreams inside it. This morning, I will be able. God will provide. We will build that building. My trainers' dreams will be fulfilled inside that building, and clients' lives are going to change. And every day, I'm going to take that 10 minutes and I'm going to see that visualization, and I'm going to believe for it to happen. I don't know what it is you're going through. I don't know where the struggle is, if it's in your marriage, if it's in your finances, if it's in your health, if it's in your business. But I challenge you to take that 10 minutes today, no matter what time of day it is, and see it differently. See the marriage stronger. See yourselves in love again. See yourself financially stable. See your business successful. See the building it's in. See the employees smiling. See the clients getting what they need. See all of it for yourself today. Instead of seeing the mountain that you're about ready to climb, see yourself in the valley. See yourself looking up at the mountain that you just climbed and see the victory. And by all means, give God all the glory for that victory because he's the one that's going to make it happen. But I just challenge you to warrior up, to armor up, and really set a time aside where you can see something different than the struggle. For more information about what we do at Integrity Training Systems on our 6-month nutrition program, you can take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or to schedule a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers to identify muscle imbalances, postural deviations, to learn how to stretch and foam roll. Give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free, nutrient-dense, healthy baked goods delivered to you from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, please take a look at fedfromthefarm.com. And don't forget that they also have turkey and chicken and eggs.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. We just got done talking about what it means to be a warrior. And now I want to get into a topic that is tough for a lot of people, and that is that this is the beginning of the end of the year. And so it is Halloween time right now, and this is where it all starts to go sideways for everybody because they're handing out candy and they're trying to be clean and they've been doing really well, and then they get into the candy. And they have 1 piece or 2 piece or 987 pieces, whatever it may be. And that persists through this weekend. And then that's going to persist into next week. And then you're a week into November. Well, now we're approaching Thanksgiving. We start having maybe mid-month Thanksgiving things because you have to meet with one side of the family and then the other side of the family, whatever it may be. And it's stressful. Everybody's trying to finish out the end of the year. Businesses are looking to finish out the end of the year. So business owners are busy. If you're working somewhere in sales, they're driving you to wrap your year up. If you're doing a larger corporation, you have year-end reviews. Like everybody is busy at the end of the year. And so we get into Thanksgiving. Well, now we're just having all sorts of crazy stuff. We're eating stuffing. We're eating potatoes every day, gravy, all sorts of these foods. The problem is we get through the back end of Thanksgiving, and who is not busy in Christmas? I mean, December is nuts. So you're trying to get presents. You're trying to get everything put together. You start having bad meals. Well, then Christmas hits, and you're only a week from the beginning of the new year. So it's like, whatever. This year is blown. We'll start over in January 1st. Now, this is where the term New Year's resolution comes from, is because in our industry, it means that they're actually going to start working out, getting healthy, getting well, getting fit. And these are both people who have been fit and then have lost it over the last couple months, and people who have otherwise not been. And something that really pisses me off is I hear a lot of different people talk about being annoyed by New Year's resolutionists. Like, oh my gosh, they're in the gym and they're taking up all the equipment. They're going to be gone in 2 weeks. Good. Maybe go help them so they're not gone in 2 weeks. Maybe don't look at them and judge them for not knowing what they do, and take your knowledge and actually go show them. I love it. People are like, oh, yeah, they don't know what to do. Like, they look like such idiots. Well, you know what? If they didn't look like idiots, then you couldn't give yourself props or credit for being good at what you're good at. So if you're going to walk around all high on your horse like you're good at it, if you're good at it, then that means that if they're bad at it, you're only good at it because you've trained to be that. So if they walked in and they were good at it, what would you even have going for you in the gym? So maybe go over there and actually try to help someone rather than sounding like a complete doofus and talking about how annoyed they are on your equipment, because they're just trying to get to where you are, just like you did when you first started coming in. And I guarantee you probably looked like an idiot too. Right. And so what happens is the end of the year wraps up into that, and so everybody has to make a comeback or start. And so what I tell people is, I had a heart attack, and different people have different health issues, and I call those red alerts. And I'd say, do not require a red alert to get healthy. don't require the beginning of the year to get healthy. Don't lose the back end of this year, because if you lose November and December, then you're losing 12 out of 10 months. And that means 1/6 of your year and your chance to be healthy is gone. Now, that's just what you've lost. To get it back is usually going to take a month or two. You're talking about like only 60 some odd % of your year actually working towards making you healthier. You have a 66% chance or 66% healthiness in your year that's attempting to perpetuate good health for the rest of your life. That's a D. Like, that's not a very good grade to get you through life. But if you're just looking to get started and you're realizing, you know what, New Year's, new me, like next year I want to get started too, try now. Don't wait until January. Get it started now. It's no different than waiting until Monday. Just start over the weekend. Start right now. Like, what can I do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to eat candy on Halloween. I'm going to pass it out, but I'm just not going to have any. I cannot have any, right? Like, it's if it's not an addiction and I'm not an addict, then I don't have to have any. Challenge yourself with that. It's like Deb said, she did 75 hard. I'm so proud of her. That's not easy to do. I was going to do it with her and ended up not, because of how busy I wrote myself off as being. We're all busy, right? But she chose to do it, and I'm proud of her for doing it. So you need to take a step similar to that out of your comfort zone, or you're going to stay where you are. And something I want to add, and then I want to have you talk for a few minutes, Debbie, is, it's always so interesting to me when you talk about a comfort zone and people being stuck like where they are, but they want to get better. And when you say, I want you to envision this or think about this, that it's hokey. Do you know that the only people that are successful in life are usually somewhat hokey? Like, the people that say that's weird or that's dumb or that's stupid or that doesn't make sense, that's kind of hokey, that's off, they stay stuck in the 9 to 5. They stay stuck looping, wishing they were somewhere else, because the norm is to be stuck. So, like, hokey shouldn't be a bad thing. That should be a good thing. Step outside of that and try to create change to obtain what you want in life.
Yeah, for sure. I think I always look at like this time of year as a way of getting ahead, because everybody else is going to be just like, forget it. I can't do it. I've already messed up this many times, and I'm just over here like, no problem. I'm going to excel through all of this. And I'm going to really gain traction, and I'm going to build for my business, and I'm going to build for my family, and I'm going to be strong when other people are starting to slack and other people are starting to slow down. I'm going to be strong. And just think about that. And what line of business are you in, or what education are you trying to achieve? And the other students and the other coworkers are like slacking now. They're starting to slow down. They're not putting in as many hours. They're starting to go home a little bit early. Maybe they're canceling some appointments, because, hey, they've got all this stuff they're wanting to do with their family. They're starting to really eat some food that they shouldn't, not getting the same amount of workouts in that they used to. But what about you? You want to get ahead? You want to look different in front of your boss? You want to look different in front of your spouse? You want to stand out? You want to stand out to your kids? You want to be a great example for your family? Now's the time to excel, because everybody else is going to be decelerating. They're going to be downshifting, and you can really stand out right now. This is actually the time to propel into another level, and it's a great opportunity to do it for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I just think that if you continue to wait to get ahead, you'll never get ahead.
Right.
It's like the best time to start is actually yesterday.
Yes.
The second best time to start is right now, today. The worst time you can start is tomorrow.
Right.
Because there's always going to be another time that you can say, I will do it tomorrow, but there is not always guaranteed to be another tomorrow.
Right.
So when you start waiting for something that you're not guaranteed to have, your success rate drops dramatically. And what are you waiting for? The root cause of most anxiety in the world, and I'm not talking about clinical anxiety that's diagnosable. I'm talking about the anxiety that 99.99% of people have, that they think is something they need to be medicated for, and that they're the only person in the world that has it. It's like, well, I got news for you. Everybody deals with some form of anxiety, and most anxiety is actually rooted in procrastination or fear of something that you have to do. And so if you would just start pulling the trigger and getting stuff done, and you would stop procrastinating, I promise you that a lot of that anxiety you deal with on a daily basis would be alleviated.
For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems with our 6-month nutrition program or personal training, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to you from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. We just got done talking a little bit about what it means to get through the holidays and not use them as an excuse to either A, get derailed, or B, stop you from getting on the train to get to the success you're looking for. And since we talked about how negative that can be, I want to talk a little bit this segment about how to prepare for that. How to overcome that. And I'm going to let Deb talk a little bit about this on the food side of things, because that's where most of it goes sideways. It's like I'll watch people and they'll work out through November and they'll work out through December. They'll get their exercise in, but man, they can't keep their food locked in. And so many people will come into the gym and they'll say like, man, I just wish I had your motivation to continue to work out and eat the way you eat. I'm like, oh, you want my motivation? So basically what you're saying is you'd rather sleep in and not exercise and just eat whatever you want, right? Because that's what I'm motivated to do. My motivation, I'm just being honest with you, is not to work out. Candidly here, I hate working out. I love the result. I really do. I like being in shape. I like being healthy. I like being athletic. I like knowing I can defend my family. But I very rarely have a day where I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a good one today. And if you're one of those people that has that, don't take that for granted. That's amazing. What I do is I'm like, man, I would love to sit at home for 24 hours and do nothing but play video games. That's my motivation. But where does that get me? That's not going to get me anywhere. So I have to set that aside and recognize that I actually do want life success more than I want epics in World of Warcraft. I mean, it's close. Okay, it's close. But I do want life success more than that, so I have to set that aside. So many people say they want to be healthier more than they don't, but then they don't show that. Like, you have to live that. So, Deb, talk to us a little bit about, as you get into this season and you're working through people with nutrition, whether they've just started with you or they're in the middle of a program, how do you guide them through it? How do you guide them through Thanksgiving and Christmas?
Well, I mean, I think the number one thing is balance and staying have a balanced plate. So I don't mean balance in that weird sense of the word, but
have whatever you want.
Yes,
but then
exactly.
Sometimes if you're healthy, it's balanced.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's look at your plate and just know that it's very well balanced in nutrients, because then it's not going to lend you to go to something that you really shouldn't be going to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I skipped a meal, or if I didn't really have quite all of my food that I should have had when I should have had it, guess what? When I'm at that party later on in the afternoon, or that luncheon that I was supposed to go to, I'm going to be starving because I messed myself up in the morning. So it's just going to be so much easier for me to end up having something that I shouldn't have. So it's like, it's an equipping just by making sure that we have our food, we have all the nutrients, the carbohydrates, the fat, the protein. We have everything very well balanced in that meal, so that we're going to keep our blood sugar stable throughout the day and then maintain our energy, and not end up changing our brain and end up craving a bunch of junk. The other thing we want to do is figure out, okay, what do I need to do before I go to this event?
Yes.
We were going to go to a fall festival on Sunday, and I knew we wouldn't have lunch until like 2 or 3 o'clock, and we were going to be in church first. So my thought was, let me equip my entire family to eat really well before we go to church. Let's have a very small snack that we can have handheld as we walk around the fall festival. We're not going to eat there because there will not be any food that we can eat there. And then we'll bridge that gap to get us through until we go out to lunch at 2:30 or 3 o'clock. But a lot of times people don't do that. They skip breakfast and then they go to church. And then at the fall festival, they have low blood sugar and they're shaky and they know that they're not going out to lunch until 2:30. And so they just go ahead and get something at the fall festival because they have to. They say that they have to, but you actually don't have to. You could equip yourself and prepare yourself. So that's another example.
And here's the problem is you get somewhere like that, and when you get hungry and your blood sugar dips like that, you don't make good decisions.
Right, right.
So it's not about like you can't have something at the fall festival, like maybe you go get the burger and you leave the bun off of it. It's not like you can't make something work. You're hungry and your blood sugar is low, and you have a smart brain and a dumb brain. That's how I like to explain this. And so your smart brain is like, our blood sugar is low. We need a balance to that. We're going to have a spike here, and we need some nutrients to come in because we need some fuel to run off of. And your dumb brain's like, funnel cake.
Right.
Funnel cake does
funnel
that.
Cake could do
Let's
that.
go get that
Yes.
because that's good. And you listen to your dumb brain. Like
Right.
you're like, oh, yeah, funnel cake and hot dogs it is. And it's like, that's where you start to really run into an issue because you haven't come prepared. And so you're going to make a decision instead of making a disciplinary action. And I told Debbie early on when I started nutrition with you, right? Remember this? You said, would you prefer chicken? I think at that time it was chicken or salmon. You wanted me to stay pretty lean on my protein. And you're like, so you can do chicken here or salmon, and then you could do green beans or broccoli. And I was like, no, that's not going to work. And Debbie, when she does nutrition, she really does tell you how to eat and gives you all of these great options. But if you're me, you can't have an option. And she goes, what do you mean that's going to work? I'm like, you got to tell me, am I having chicken or am I having salmon? Because if you give me a choice between chicken or salmon, I'm going to eat pizza because I've got the opportunity to make a choice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the two options and I'm going to say, I don't want either one of those because now we're talking about what I want. And so I'm going to go for something I shouldn't have. So like if you're that person, you don't need to be making that decision on the spot without the chicken or the salmon even available. You're going to eat the wrong thing.
Well, and then the other thing that you want to consider is as you're approaching thinking about the holiday, there's two ways of thinking. You can say, and I support both. You can say, okay, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, 4th of July, my birthday, and my anniversary. That's six actual
and you have to pick those because there's 987
Right.
holidays a year right now.
Right.
So you can't say every holiday. You
Right.
will literally eat more days wrong than you do right.
And so, if that's your mindset and you say, I'm going to have a meal that is off and is unhealthy on those days, great. Then the very next meal, you get on track. No big deal. That's your decision, okay? You're going to have some cravings the next day. You may even have some health issues the next day. You have to challenge yourself to get yourself right back on track. If you have health issues, if you have autoimmune, if you have digestive issues, and having that off meal is only going to prompt a furthered health response, one of which is going to require more medication, missed work, potentially seeing a doctor or having to seek a treatment, is it worth having that meal? That's where we have to evaluate, and we can get creative. If the stuffing is what you love and that's something that you always go for, but you need to not have bread, even gluten-free bread bothers you, great. Now don't rule this out. Let's get rice cauliflower and start browning it in a skillet. And whatever you make your stuffing with, if that's celery, onion, carrots, garlic, put that in another skillet and start sauteing it down. If it's mushrooms and sage and oysters and sausage, get that sauteing down and then get it combined with your rice cauliflower. Put a little chicken broth in there, a little chicken bone broth in there, and then finish it in the oven to brown the top of it. And now you've made cauliflower stuffing, and it has all the same herbs, all the same spices, all the same extra vegetables that your normal stuffing has. Okay, the other thing we can do if we want to stay low carb is mash the cauliflower, roast it with garlic, put it in a mix. Put a little bit of coconut milk in with it, a little bit of olive oil in with it, and a bunch of different herbs and spices. Blend it up, and now you have mashed cauliflower instead of mashed potatoes. We can bake a sweet potato. We can roast some walnuts on the side with some cinnamon and stevia. Mash that sweet potato up, put a little bit of coconut milk and a little bit of coconut oil in with it. Get your hand mixer out, whip it up, make it a mashed sweet potato, and top it with some cinnamon and stevia spiced pecans or walnuts, all right? We can bake an apple. We can slice up the apple, put cinnamon and stevia and coconut oil on top, and we can bake the apple. And then we can do the same thing with those nuts. We can even toast a little bit of oatmeal with a little cinnamon and stevia sprayed with some coconut oil spray, and then we can add that to the top of those apples to make you feel like you are having an apple pie, the inside of the apple pie. We can also make a crustless pumpkin pie. If we need it to be dairy-free, then all we have to do is take that sweetened condensed milk and replace it with coconut cream. So a can of coconut cream. Bake it, put all the same ingredients in it, and bake it. I actually add protein powder to it, vanilla protein powder instead of sugar. So if it calls for a cup of sugar, you add a cup of vanilla protein powder. I really like vanilla collagen, Ancient Nutrition that we get at O'Fallon Nutrition. Or I like Truvani. I think Truvani is a really good plant-based protein powder that you could add in that. Now, after you've baked that crustless pumpkin pie, take a can of that coconut cream, put it in your refrigerator, make it become solid. While it's ice cold, put it in your KitchenAid mixer and leave the water in the can out. Start blending it rapidly on high. Use the paddle and whip it on high. Add some stevia, maybe a little cinnamon. Add some stevia, maybe a little vanilla, and you've made whipped cream. You can put that on top of your apples. You can put that on top of your crustless pumpkin pie. So what I'm saying is we don't necessarily have to have all those bad foods to still have an amazing meal. A lot of times clients will say, I just had the green bean casserole. It seemed like the safest thing. It's actually probably one of the worst things you can have on Thanksgiving. It has MSG, it has yeast, it has gluten. MSG, yeast, and gluten all combined is a migraine waiting to happen, just so you know. It's also an inflammatory, joint. It will inflame the joints. It'll inflame your gut. So saute up some mushrooms and some shallot or some onion in a side skillet. Saute up fresh green beans in another skillet. Dice some onions. Put them on a sheet cake pan. Spray them with olive oil or avocado oil. Bake them on 300 degrees and forget about them until they become crunchy. Combine the green beans with the mushroom and onion and then top them with the crispy onions. And you've made your own form of, green bean casserole. If you really want it to be creamy, just type in Whole30 green bean casserole. It will be dairy-free and it will be gluten-free. Or just type in dairy-free green bean casserole, and they will use coconut milk and coconut cream to be able to make that. So there's a bunch of different ways that you could go about it a lot healthier and not become sick from it.
Yeah, I think, this is one of the main things that you do in your nutrition program is that you teach people, you equip people with things like this. Like everything you just said, I'm in the fitness industry and the health and wellness industry as well, and I couldn't say what you just said. So it's like, when someone works with you, these are the types of information you provide and the consistent information that you give to help people be persistent. And this is why you've wrote as many cookbooks as you have, is because so many people think like, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to Thanksgiving and I'm going to have plain turkey and plain green beans. Well, no, like there's plenty of things you can do, and so like there's two types of people. Like you said, Debbie doesn't have an off meal on those days. I do, but I have to be smart about it. As far as health conditions go, my body, I don't necessarily put weight on. I might deal with some inflammation and pain after eating something, but my brain downregulates. So I go somewhere and I have an apple pie, which is my favorite. The next day, I'm a raging monster. Even if I do a gluten-free, I have to be careful. It's like sometimes gluten-free stuff doesn't even work for me. So figure out what you can get away with that you enjoy if that's what you need to do, and don't put yourself in a position to end up suffering or suffering more than, at least more than one day. Like that doesn't make sense at all, especially if it's going to create a spiral that keeps you falling apart.
For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems for our 6-month nutrition program, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com, or for a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to you from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3, talking a lot about the holidays and being prepared to take them on. And I just want to say, like, when it comes to health, just like anything else in life, if you want to be successful, you need to get around successful people. The Bible says to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. It also says iron sharpens iron. So if you're walking around wishing you were more healthy, or you're walking around wishing that you could kind of get a start towards getting your life back from disease or some kind of health, you're not going to have a really good chance of doing that if the people around you aren't doing the same thing. I'm not saying it can't be done. Like, it can absolutely be done. We have people all the time that come in and their spouse isn't even on board and they still turn it around. And a lot of times it results in their spouse making a turnaround too, which is great. But what I'm saying is surround yourself with people. I just pointed out, they come into us. Like, that would be finding like-minded individuals. Find accountability partners. If it's not a coach, find people that you can work out with or people that you can associate with. Maybe it's a Facebook group. Maybe it's a small group from your church. Find people that are trying to do the same thing as you. You don't want to continue to be the fastest person in the race you're running, or you're not going to get ahead. Find people who have already done it. Find people that do it for a profession. We're in the middle right now of an 8-week challenge that we're putting on at the gym, and there's 20 people that are in it, and they're doing fantastic. We've done a few weeks of it. It's an hour of personal training with that group, so small group training, followed by an hour meeting with Debbie where she talks about nutrition and just the science behind it and why we do what we do. And the first week, it was a little bit more quiet, other than me yelling extremely loud over the top of the music and a little bit of the murmuring of the workout. But now, this many weeks in, you can see people. They've made friends. They're talking to each other, and not clicky. Like, they're actually all talking to each other, encouraging each other, motivating each other. They're doing things outside of Monday nights. They're doing things through the week because they want to come back and feel like they've had more accomplishments. They're asking each other questions about food outside of meeting on Mondays. I've watched phone numbers be exchanged. There's success in that. Like, they're finding a team of people, even beyond us as professionals, to come together to try to promote health. And it's an awesome thing to see, because I just think that isn't something that is really, it doesn't have a lot of attention paid to it, and it's really easy for an entire group of people to pull somebody down and say, oh, it's just one drink, or it's just a little bit of nachos, it's just a little bit, you can't do one thing, than it is to have that person pull them up. So if you surround yourself with encouragement, that's going to be how you stay in the race, for sure.
Yeah, I heard this. I was listening to a message earlier today, and I thought the perspective on this was really good, where people, complain that they're not successful because they don't have support, or they don't have, the people that are around them are what's kind of bringing them down. So they can't do well because of the environment that they're in, basically. And he said, if you want to see people around you change, meaning, hey, my spouse is not supporting me, my spouse doesn't do the food that I want to do, my spouse is not healthy, my family's not healthy, my kids are not healthy, my coworkers are not healthy. But if you want to see people change around you, then be the example. Like, quit complaining about the fact that they're not like you or that they don't support you.
Yes.
Just continue to be such a glowing example to those people. Now, I do agree with John. Get around some encouraging people.
Yeah,
Get
hire
around
somebody.
some healthy
Get
people.
in the gym.
You need to be around people that build you, because at some point people will just take from you. But be the example for your family. Be the example for your unhealthy kids. Be the example for your unhealthy spouse. Be the example for your unhealthy coworkers, for your unhealthy clients. I'm telling you, if you're walking around preaching and pointing fingers and telling people how unhealthy they are, they will actually never change, because they'd probably rather slit their own throat than actually give you what you're looking for, because they're so tired of you telling them what they should be doing. Live it in front of them in such a way that it's attractive, that it's like you're a magnet. Like, they want what you have. It's kind of the same with faith, but when it comes to health, just show them what a healthy life feels like. You be the example. And all of those items that you say, I can't get healthy because I have kids. I can't get healthy because my spouse is unhealthy. I can't get healthy because I go to work and they have all of these bad foods all the time. Those actually need to become your should items. Okay, I can get healthy I should get healthy because I have kids. I should get healthy because I have a team at work that needs to see me healthy and I need to lead them to become healthy. I should get healthy because I have a spouse that had a heart attack. I have a spouse that needs to be healthy, right? So turn your because items into should items.
Yes. Well, I mean, I just think that if you put yourself in a position to speak negatively, you're going to live negatively. And there's a quote, who knows who said it first, but it says, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. So if you're walking around saying you can't, then you're going to be right. I mean, you're going to convince yourself. And really, yourself is the only person you're convincing. We were talking on the break about how excuses are always funny because they're more for the person saying them than they are for someone else, because most people that are listening to you are like, because they just hear an excuse. You know, they've probably used the same one. Yes. And so they're just like, okay, just like you are when you listen to an excuse. You know, so if you're walking around telling yourself that, you know, you can't do something and you start to believe it, that becomes a massive problem. And your why should be stronger than what's holding you back on that. Kids are a mega example of that. Well, you know, it's just hard. My kids don't want to eat, you know, well, first off, you set them up to not want to eat clean because you were the one that gave them the garbage in the first place. And second off, they're not going to starve without Twinkies. So figure it out. Right. It's going to take a little bit of discomfort. But what you're going to do is you're going to take on the discomfort in a situation that you helped create so that in the future, your child doesn't have to have the discomfort of crappy health. So quit saying you can't do something and start actually thinking about, how do I tackle this? And also quit being negative to the people around you and think about everything you say. If you constantly say, oh, I'm just so tired, or I'm so out of it, or I'm so weak, or gosh, I'm just so this. Well, first off, if you're trying to live an example, people don't want what you got. And second off, if you're just trying to be healthy and well yourself, quit poisoning your mind. There is validity in what you say out loud or even what you think, empowering you or destroying you. And if you never give yourself the potential or the opportunity to think positively, you're going to live in that negativeness.
I will just say personally as a coach, you know, all of my years of coaching people on nutrition, when I hear an excuse, because I have witnessed so many transformations of people that had incredible adversity. I mean, incredible adversity. I can remember Misty Weatherford winning the Miss Universe contest, and she had a herniated disc in her back, and she still trained 13 hours a week with me. She had a herniated disc. I mean, I have people tell me that they can't come in and work out. I'm not telling you to do that, but I'm just saying I have people that come in and tell me they can't work out because they didn't have time, you know, and she has 2 kids and, you know, all the things. But, you know, when I hear an excuse as a coach, I actually don't even hear it anymore. I just look at them like I don't even hear that, because that doesn't even register to me anymore. It's not even acceptable anymore, because there is a solution to all of those things. And just as I told you before, everything that you're telling me you can't do, everything you're telling me that you don't think is possible, it is actually the reason why you need to do it. And so I'm just there to redirect that. I'm just there to tell you, no, I'm sorry, your kids actually are not an excuse. They're actually the reason that you need to be healthy. I'm sorry, your unhealthy spouse is not an excuse. He's actually going to need to see you healthy. And don't feel like because you made a mistake yesterday or you made a mistake last week that you're not winning anymore. You just have to compare yourself to yourself, okay? How much better am I than I was last month? How much better am I than I was last year? I'm a way different person than I was a year ago. Okay, that's what you have to compare yourself to. And just keep setting yourself up for that progress and just keep improving. I'm telling you, it is absolutely worth it. But excuses, they're just lies. And you'll continue to make them for the rest of your life. Get with someone that will break that, and that will just kind of bind that curse and just not let it continue any further in your life. For more information on a 6-month nutrition program with myself at Integrity Training Systems, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com, or for a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look or give us a call at 636-299-2208 for gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door For My Healthy Bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com. And don't forget that they also have turkey, chicken, and eggs. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless you.